Hi, I'm Alex Sams, and I'm here to talk about Far From Home, the second installment in the newest Spider-Man franchise. I just want to start by saying I thought the movie was amazing. I've already seen it twice. Plans to see it a third time, of course, because I never see a Marvel movie less than 5 times. When Kevin Feige came out and said that Far From Home was going to be the end of Phase 3 instead of Endgame, my first reaction was that's the stupidest thing ever. Obviously, Endgame's what we were building towards for 10 years. Why wouldn't that be the end of it? I want to say, on record, on camera, this is on videotape, I was wrong. Far From Home was a beautiful ending to Phase 3 and a gorgeous beginning to Phase 4. Endgame ended with the person that started the franchise, Tony Stark and RDJ, dying. And that's kind of how we left it. I mean, we had his funeral, but there was really no closure. This movie was closure. It was us grieving with Peter. It was Peter growing up and learning to stand on his own 2 feet. And I think that was an important close to Phase 3. What I want to talk about is the character development Peter had between Homecoming and Far From Home. Obviously, he was in a couple of movies in between, but I think it's really important to talk about the character development between his solo movies. 2 of the things that stood out to me were him straight saying, I wanted to be like Tony, he wanted me to be better. That's something that Tony Stark told him right after the ferry incident in Homecoming. And you can tell that that really stuck with him, is he wanted to be better for Mr. Stark. And that's just it. Poor baby Peter. But the other thing was when Mysterio showed up and was Water Monster. That's what it was. It was the water elemental that he was fighting. Mysterio was going through, obviously he was going for maximum destruction and casualties, and Peter was going up behind him and cleaning up the mess and trying to keep buildings from falling on people and getting people out of the way. And that right there is character development, because in Homecoming, ferry incident, he was causing the damage and then trying to clean up after himself. In this one, you really got to see that the people and the safety of everyone around him was his priority, and that he got directly from Tony. And I loved that. But with character development, you got to remember that the character is still a child. He's 16, 17 in Far From Home. He's still a little baby. So we see this young person grieving someone that they lost, and you still see a level of immaturity, especially when he gets Edith, and the first thing he does is almost accidentally kill a classmate. He stops it, but that being the first thing he does with technology that powerful that Stark left him shows the immaturity. But that immaturity is balanced out with he doesn't have his mentor anymore. He doesn't have the person that guided him through this whole hero thing. And that's shown when he hands Edith over to Quentin. He was saddled with all this responsibility when he was given Edith, and he knew that. And then when he screwed up, and Fury pointed it out, we'll get to that in a second, it was really hard for him. And Tom does such a great job of showing the subtleties of grief and loss and struggle on his face and in his eyes. And it's just, he's so good. You don't have to think he's the best Spider-Man. Everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion. But he's an incredible actor. And just, he plays the subtleties of it so well. I feel like I'm rambling. Sorry. Fury, double layered. First of all, Fury's used to the whole tough love thing because he's used to talking to grown Avengers and not literal children. But I was about to fight Nick Fury myself. Don't ever talk to my precious little baby like that ever again. But on the other hand, Fury was a Skrull the whole time. So, interesting twist. I don't know how I feel about that. I have follow-up questions like, since when? How long has Fury been on the Skrull ship and not on Earth? How long have Maria Hill and Fury been Skrulls? I think that's going to be an interesting part of Phase 4, because clearly we're not done with that storyline. So the possibility of Secret Wars is still there. I really hope they do it, but I really hope they do it right. As far as the little psych out, as far as the multiverse and the elementals went, it's kind of Marvel's thing to go, here you go. Nope, just kidding. No, we were kidding. Here you go. So the whole multiverse thing, I think a lot of fans agreed that that would be the perfect way to kind of usher in the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and explain why they haven't been around during these monumental international events. And just because they didn't do it in Spider-Man, and even though they teased it, doesn't mean they're not going to do it. I don't think Spider-Man was going to be the right character to bring that in anyway. We have characters on other planets and characters that toy with dimensions that would make way more sense to bring in the multiverse. I'm talking Doctor Strange. Really hoping it's Doctor Strange. That would make the most sense to me. But I can also see them using Thor and the Guardians or Captain Marvel to bring that in as well. Because we were also teased with Adam Warlock a very long time ago. Guardians 2, I think. So I think that's still coming. So Phase 4, if executed properly, I know it sounds blasphemous to still be downing Marvel at this point, but we've made some questionable decisions. So the apprehension for Phase 4 is there, but they have a lot that they have set up that I would love for them to pay off. That would be really, really great. I want to talk about Mysterio as the villain, because I loved the way they did it. We all knew he was going to be the villain, even though in the trailers and the first 30 minutes of the movie, it looked like they were going to play him off as a hero. And which doesn't seem out of the realm of possibilities considering what they did with the Skrulls and Captain Marvel. The Skrulls and the Kree were bad. They were always bad. They were always at war. There was never good guy Skrulls. Sorry. So the fact that they made Skrulls good guys, which again, they can still pay off. We'll see if they do it. Just kind of insinuated that they could do the same with Mysterio. But I love the way they did it. I love the way that they took us with Peter. You know, we really were following Peter throughout this whole movie. We knew he was going to be a bad guy, but like he sucks you in the first 30 minutes and he's talking to Peter about MJ and kind of teasing that he's going to be that mentor for him because that's what Peter needs. It was very well executed emotional manipulation on the writer's part as far as Peter goes. Mysterio knew that there was a void that needed to be filled in Peter's life, and he's like, hey, let's go talk to the kid that's all broken and grieving and lonely and sad, and manipulate him into giving us what we want, and it worked. But I thought it was so brilliantly written that they took a well-known villain that we all knew was going to be a villain, played him up as the bad guy, and then when he turned the villain, we were all like, I fucking knew it, but also, fuck you. Like, it was very well done. I appreciated how detailed and how good the writing was. And the thing I loved most about Far From Home is you really felt Tony Stark's presence in the whole thing. By the way, when the opening title started and it said In Memoriam, I thought for sure it was going to be like a picture of Stan Lee. I was like, I'm going to cry. Why would you do this? But then it started with Tony. I was like, that's maybe worse. That might be worse. But between the artwork in the school and the pictures and posters and graffiti of Iron Man all over the world, to Peter talking about him, obviously that all felt like Tony. But my favorite moment was when Peter was on the ship creating his own suit from Tony's tech, and Happy is just looking at him with tears in his eyes. And I was looking at him with tears in my eyes. Yep, you're Tony's kid for sure. And it was great, and it was brilliantly done, and I loved it. Everyone go see it, and see it again, and see it again.